now supply to the lacrimal gland. Here is the pons and the medulla. Superior salivatory nucleus is present. Superior salivatory nucleus is also called as lacrimatory nucleus. Here is the brachiomotor nucleus of the facial nerve. Superior salivatory nucleus is a part of the facial nerve. Brachiomotor fibers of the facial nerve. These two are brachiomotor fiber. Facial nerve has two components. Brachiomotor component and the nervous intermediate component. Nervous intermediate component has sensory fibers, that has taste fibers, secretomotor fibers. This is the brachiomotor. It is a superior salivatory nucleus. These two are run outside as a facial nerve. Is superior salivatory nucleus. Sorry, it should be green. It is a facial nerve. It is a brachiomotor component. It is a nervous intermediate component. Nervous intermediate component. I will introduce all this. It is an internal acoustic meatus. Internal acoustic meatus present between the posterior cranial fossa and the middle cranial fossa. Internal acoustic meatus के अंदर nervous intermediates and the brachiomotor fibers run in the internal acoustic meatus. Here is the geniculate ganglion. Geniculate ganglion. This is a middle cranial fossa. Here is the foramina rotundum. Foramina rotundum. Here is a carotid canal. Carotid canal and the foramina lacirum are intercommunicated. Foramina lacirum see pterygopalatine ganglion are connected through a pterygoid canal. This is the pterygoid canal. Pterygoid canal. Here from superiorly pterygopalatine ganglion anteriorly communicate to the orbit through inferior orbital fissure. It is the inferior orbital fissure. Foramina rotundum, foramina lacirum, carotid canal, pterygoid canal. It is a greaterpetrosal foramina. It is a secretomotor fiber, parasympathetic part of the facial nerve. It is a brachiomotor component of the facial nerve. It is a parasympathetic part of the facial nerve. It come outside of the cranial cavity. It travel along the facial nerve. Parasympathetic fibers of the facial nerve run along the facial nerve. Then it enters into the internal acoustic meatus. Geniculate ganglion. Brachiomotor fibers also reach the geniculate ganglion. From brachiomotor fibers enters into the, here is the medial wall. In medial wall of the middle ear, it is a posterior wall of the middle ear, enters into the posterior wall of the middle ear and comes out through the floor. It is a motor component of the facial nerve. It is a parasympathetic part of the facial nerve. Some of the fibers come along the brachiomotor and some jump from the geniculate ganglion and enters into the hiatus for the greaterpetrosal nerve. It enters into the hiatus for the greaterpetrosal nerve. It enters into the foramina lacirum. From the foramina lacirum goes out into the pterygoid canal. It relay in the ganglion. This is a pterygopalatine ganglion. From the pterygopalatine ganglion, it enters into the inferior orbital fissure. Here is the internal carotid artery. There is a sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery enter into the carotid canal. From the carotid canal, it enters into foramina lacirum. From foramina lacirum, it goes upward. Here is the cavernous sinus. Cavernous sinus, sympathetic plexus. This sympathetic plexus enters into the pterygoid canal. The sympathetic plexus are deep petrosal nerve. This is a greaterpetrosal nerve. From geniculate ganglion up to here, it is a greaterpetrosal nerve. It is a deep petrosal nerve. Pterygoid canal contain greaterpetrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve. The two nerves meet together forms a Vedian nerve. Vedian nerve enters into the ganglion. From this sympathetic plexus also enters into the inferior orbital fissure. Inferior orbital fissure. These fibers divides into zygomatico, zygomatic, temporal. Zygomatic అనేది zygomatico temporal. Foramina rotundum. Here is the dural cave, cavernous sinus. Here is the dural cave. Trigeminal ganglion is present here. Trigeminal ganglion has 3 divisions: ophthalmic division, maxillary division, mandibular division. Maxillary division enters into the foramina rotundum. Foramina rotundum. It is also enters into the orbit through the inferior orbital fissure. It enters into the inferior orbital fissure. Ophthalmic division has lacrimal branch, frontal branch, nasociliary branch. Lacrimal branch enters into the orbit through the superior orbital fissure. Here is the zygomatico temporal. Zygomatico temporal meet with the lacrimal branch. Here is the lacrimal gland. This lacrimal nerve, zygomatico temporal branch, supplies to the lacrimal gland. Lacrimal nerve, zygomatico temporal, lacrimal gland. Facial nerve. Superior salivatory nucleus, parasympathetic fibers arises and the brachiomotor fibers enters into internal acoustic meatus, geniculate ganglion. Brachiomotor fibers enters into the medial wall, posterior wall, floor and comes out through the stylomastoid foramina. Geniculate ganglion, the fibers jump from the geniculate ganglion, enters into hiatus for the greaterpetrosal and then it travels into the foramina lacirum, pterygoid canal, inferior orbital fissure, zygomatic branch, zygomatico temporal and the lacrimal nerve supplies to the lacrimal gland. See here, nerve supply to the lacrimal gland. Secretomotor fibers for the lacrimal gland. Lacrimatory nucleus are the superior salivatory nucleus. Here is the superior salivatory nucleus, lacrimatory nucleus. It is a nervous intermediate part of the facial nerve. Then the facial nerve and the geniculate ganglion. It enters into the geniculate ganglion. Then greaterpetrosal and the deep petrosal nerves. From the geniculate ganglion, hiatus for the greaterpetrosal nerve. This greaterpetrosal nerve and the internal carotid artery sympathetic chain, deep petrosal nerve. Greaterpetrosal and the deep petrosal nerve. Greaterpetrosal nerve and the greaterpetrosal nerve and the deep petrosal nerve. Then nerve to the pterygoid canal, pterygopalatine ganglion. nerve of the pterygopalatine ganglion, pterygoid canal, pterygopalatine ganglion. In the pterygopalatine ganglion, it relay in the ganglion, in inferior orbital fissure. It relay in the ganglion, postganglionic fibres. These postganglionic fibres run along the maxillary nerve, enters into the orbit, divides into the zygomatic and the zygomatico temporal. Zygomatico temporal meet with the lacrimal branch of the ophthalmic division of the trigeminal ganglion, and it innervates the lacrimal gland. See here, zygomatic nerve, zygomatico temporal, communicating branch to the lacrimal nerve, lacrimal gland. Thank you.